Mm. 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 Good morning, Babashinde.
Hello,
Hi.
Aaron.
How are you? I am the head of insights at Shopify. How are you? How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you. How are you too?
I'm good, thank you. Just another day, and very excited to have such enthusiastic candidates out here and keeping us very busy all day. So great start. To begin with, I just wanted to ask you: could you tell me something about a bit more about yourself, some background information? What has your professional experience been? What have you been doing all these years, and what got you to this position in our company suddenly?
All right. All
Pandemic.
right. So thank you very much for this opportunity to start with. I started my market research career back in Nigeria, working with a local company focused on IT and telecoms research. Right. I started as a field work administrator. Right. I was administering questionnaires, asking people questions on the street. I was gathering data. When I gather the data, I go back into the office to enter the data into a computer, right? That's how I started my market research profession, right? In that same company, I got trained using tools like SPSS, Microsoft Excel for analysis. Yeah, so I was creating charts, tables, and I got trained on how to make a sense of those charts and tables, creating insights for the customers, right? So from that company, I moved on to another company called Africa Analysis. Africa Analysis is also a technology research company, a technology market research company, right? We worked with big telecom companies in Africa and Middle East. We were involved in a market entry strategy for one of the biggest telecom companies in Africa, Middle East. The name of the company is Etisalat. We had to do a market entry strategy for them to check the value of the telecoms markets in Nigeria. We had to check what kind of cost are the amount of customers available to them. What if they could churn some customers from competitors already on ground, right? So we did a lot of will I say walk around, a lot of investigation for them before they launched in the country, and it's one of the successful telecom giants in Nigeria right now. Uh, from that company, I moved on to another company called International Data Corporation. It's a global market research company. Its focus is also on IT and telecoms market research. It's vast in the sense that it's present in almost about 120 countries around the world, right? So I was involved with a large team called the Infrastructure and Systems. I was involved in market research into cloud technologies into technologies such as cloud, servers. I was also involved with consumer technologies, tablets, PCs, mobile phones. I did a lot of studies regarding customer segmentation, customer experience studies. There was one of the studies we did for one of the vendors, for one of the technology vendors in West Africa, a channel distribution study where we had to find out what kind of channel strategies that they could implement in Nigeria to make sure that they were getting the right products into the market at a cheaper rate, an affordable rate for consumers, right? From IDC, I relocated to Canada, and I joined Amazon when I moved on to Canada, and I became a data analyst in Amazon. Right now, I'm working with the operations team in Amazon. I still use a bit of my market research background with the operations team, making sure that our 2-day services get packages that have been ordered for 2 days. We make sure we get them to customers at the cheapest and at the fastest way. All right. So making sure that customer satisfaction is met. That's what we're all about in Amazon. So, so that my research background has gotten me to the point where I saw this role and I'm quite interested in the role. It's a market research role. And that's what has made me interested in this role. Thank you.
Oh, that's amazing. What a prolific background. We're interested in knowing a little bit about, you've talked about all these different geographies, you've done market research in all these different places. How different or similar has the experience been as you've moved along all these different continents and cities and then here back in Canada? What has, and then, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you for asking. I remember one of the studies that I did, the channel distribution strategy that I mentioned earlier on. I was actually working with a team of market researchers in a country in Czech Republic, right? We were doing a strategy, a channel strategy for one of the vendors in that country, right? After completion of that study, got we got commission for the channel strategy for the Nigerian market too, and it was quite interesting because I was able to transfer the knowledge that I got from working with the team in Czech Republic for also the Nigerian market. There were similar attributes in the sense that the products were transferred from vendors to the tier one market, to the tier one channel distributor, from the tier one channel distributor to a tier two channel distributor, then to the retailer who then takes it to who then sells to the consumer, right? We were able to develop a channel strategy that streamlined this 4 level of channel distribution, right? We streamlined it into 2, right? To make it affordable and cheaper for the consumers. We also encourage the vendor to create like a line of credit for the channel distributor so that it's easier for them to get the products straight to the market. All right. So working in different locations has actually it's been an advantage because I can use strategies from one region for another region as long as they have similar attributes. I can see that the framework is similar to what we have planned, right? So it has given me a lot of advantage, and I think that's what makes IDC a very successful market research company globally too.
That's amazing. You mentioned you did a little bit of market research in your operations role at Amazon. I'm interested in knowing a little more about that.
All right. So yeah. So in Amazon, it's all about the customer, right? For us, it's all about the customer in Amazon, right? We want to make sure the customer is happy with deliveries, with orders, all right? So when Amazon started in Canada, unlike the US market, Amazon was already doing same-day deliveries, right? But in Canada, when Amazon started, the same-day delivery service was not available. At best, you could get 3-day delivery, right? But right now, what I do with Amazon is now to find out the best carrier that can ship any package, right, to the customer, the fastest and the most affordable way. All right. So now we're getting to do, if we make customer promises of 2-day deliveries, with the kind of research that I do now, I am able to determine if we can close it down for a 1-day delivery or same-day delivery for packages, right? So I use customized tools built by Amazon. As you know, Amazon also has another arm called the AWS, Amazon Web Service, and the software arm, right? So I use customized tools developed by Amazon to be able to narrow down customer packaging for delivery. If we commit to a 2-day delivery, we'll make sure we get it there by that 2-day delivery or even shorter than that, but never longer than 2 days. So it's been very interesting, right? Getting to work with different carriers, getting to work with the Amazon logistics team, right? It's been very interesting. Similar to what I was doing with any market research company, right? I get to see data on affordability, on pricing, right? It's been very interesting for me.
You sound like You're very excited by your role, and I want to know now. You know, our company is more of a knowledge management company, and we're one of the Canada's top brands in e-commerce. So why do you think we are the market leaders here? And when you think of us, what are the top three words that come to your mind, maybe?
All right, good, good. The top three words that come to my mind, um, e-commerce, all right, um, or sustainability, and there are e-commerce sustainability, and I'm going to use this third one, everyone, all right? When I say e-commerce, the company is able to bring every retailer to a platform where people can showcase their products without without worrying about the tools to bring their products online, right? Because like the world is changing now because of the pandemic that has happened in this year, 2020, everybody's going online, right? So this company has made a suitable platform for people to be able to say to bring their products to the consumer, right? So because as a result of the pandemic, a lot of companies are shutting down their areas, their working shops and all of that. But having an online platform to be able to to showcase their products and then to be able to deliver to customers, I think that's number one. That's very good. Number two, like I mentioned, is sustainability, right? The world, like I mentioned earlier, is changing, right? There needs to be, we need to be able to operate in such a way that we are not destroying the environment. And this makes it very, very good. Shopify makes it very interesting in the sense that Shopify is able to transfer, how would I say it now? Is able to transfer the knowledge that it has in terms of the e-commerce industry and use it to help, to assist, to support other merchants in the space of retailing, right? For them to be able to grow, right? So merchants don't have to close their warehouses, they don't have to close their shops. They just need the Shopify platform for them to be able to grow. The third word I mentioned was everyone. Shopify serves as a platform that serves the small businesses, the large businesses, the consumers, the business to business, people, right? So Shopify brings together everyone. It's kind of an umbrella that brings together everyone into this e-commerce world, all right? So those are the three words that come to me that make it a successful company to work with.
Speaking of leadership, what kinds of there's a lot of leadership going on in this organization, a lot of initiative, and all our staff employees are very self-motivated and are taking the lead on things. Interested in learning about maybe an example of a time when you demonstrated strong leadership skills in your role.
Oh, thank you. Leadership skills. Luckily for me, I would say I was born into a family as a firstborn, right? So my parents have always taught me the values of leadership, right? So growing up, I've always tried to implement these values that I've been taught. One comes to my mind, like in a leadership position, one should be able to mentor your colleagues and other people working with you, other people coming to help to work with you, right? One of the one of the one in one of the situations that I found myself was I was part of a team. I was part of a team that was supposed to conduct a market research study in 16 countries across Middle East and Africa, right? I was assigned to lead that team and with a given budget, right? I think about $25,000 then, right? We're supposed to interview about 40 C-level executives to find out, to gauge their level of participation in the particular program, right? Now, I had to draw up a framework to see how we could successfully interview 40 C-level executives across 16 countries in Middle East Africa. I had to think about, okay, what would be the most affordable, the most reliable medium for us to use for this interview. So I decided that we could do some of these interviews in one-on-one, face-to-face format. We could do some of these interviews in an online format, and we could do some of the interviews in a kind of discussion format where we can have 2 or 3 executives together in the same country while sitting down with them, ask them questions and get their insights with regards to our study, right? I was able to also organize myself, right, and my team, because I believe that's one of the attributes of a leader, to be able to organize oneself, right? I was able to organize myself and my team such that we can have a routine and a timetable schedule for us to be able to interview these executives. At the end of the day, I saw that 3 things I was able to do: organization, communication, and I was able to, the first 2 things, organization and communication, we were doing that, we were able to save a lot of budget. On the budget, we saved about 50% of the budget because we did a lot of online interviews. We did like I said, group discussion interviews, right? And it saved us a lot of travel money, right? So I was able to save about 50% of the budget. And because I was able to save about 50% of the budget, the company then found out that I had created a standard where they could follow, right? So there was not that third attribute of earning trust, right? So organization, communication, and earn trust, right? Those 3 attributes, as a leader, I have worked with, right? So the company was able to set that as a standard going forward, and they were able to assign me more leadership roles going forward with future studies.
Wow, bravo! That sounds like a lot of exciting work you've done. What about now a time when you maybe missed a major milestone and had to deal with negative customer experience? Can you give
Okay, so,
give an example of
yeah.
that?
Yeah, I can think of one situation too where uh, we we had pitched for a study with one of the big companies. I think it was one of the countries in down in Africa too, right? We had pitched for a study with one of the companies down in Africa, and luckily we were assigned to do the project, and we had committed ourselves to a 3 weeks timeline, right? And the standard is that we get on commissioning, we get paid about 30% of the budget, right? Of the cost of the project. However, we were commissioned to do the project, but the 30% payments didn't come on. It was delayed by about 1 week from the start of the project date. So we could not readily start work as a result of that delay in payment, right? And this also delayed, it kind of pushed the timeline, made our timeline shorter, right? Because we are committed to a 3 weeks period. Now we had to now make sure that we had to fast track a lot of procedures during this project work, right? At the end of at the close of the project, we delayed by 24 hours, by 1 day, right? As a result of not starting early enough, right? The client was obviously not happy that we did not commit to we had committed to the 3 weeks deadline, to 3 weeks timeline, but we did not meet the deadline. We crossed it by 24 hours. However, one of our aims, what we always do, and what I personally believe in, is for every customer, try and deliver 110%, right? Even though the project didn't have some of the characters that we had added into the project, right? Some of the results that we have added into the project, we delivered 110% results for the customer. So even with the delay, the customer then, by the time we were presenting our research findings to the customer, this customer saw that we had gone above and beyond what our scope of work was supposed to be. So the customer was quite happy at the end of the day because we had provided them with things like forecasts for another 5 to 10 years, for long-term forecasts where their marketing group can actually then use our forecast to be able to plan future engagements with customers, right? So the customer was very happy with this delivery because we had gone above and beyond, right? So I believe when there's a major milestone missed, we should always commit to something that could still make the customer happy with the project deliveries, yeah? So that's how I've handled that kind of situation.
Okay, thank you. Where do you see the future of insights headed, and with the role of technology as it's impacting gathering insights? You know, you already experienced a lot of this while working with Amazon, but where do you think it's going with so much big data and technology and AI coming into place? How are you going to see the future of research going?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I started market research administering questionnaires on the streets, right? I was getting responses, writing them on the paper, then take those responses as data, entering them into a computer. Moving forward years, I started getting responses on tablets, all right? And those tablets, those responses will then move them to SPSS tools or Microsoft Excel to then analyze and create charts and tables, right? However, um, now I see what is available now with big data available now. One does not need to necessarily go on the streets anymore to gather data. It's quite interesting. It's faster now to gather data, and then it's easier to analyze this data and churn out instead of getting insights uh, days after the research has been done, hours after the data has been gathered. With big data now, analysis can be done easily and insights can be generated as fast as possible. I see that the future of market research is that a lot of tools and applications will be developed that will make it even a lot faster for data to be gathered, for analysis to be done, and more insights, better data-driven insights to occur, right? Because before we were using samples like 30 or 40 within a population, but now we can analyze the entire population. We don't have to gather a sample size anymore. We can use get data from the entire population and analyze that data and build insights from there. It gives us a better meaning, a deeper drive into the kind of insights that we can get, right? So technology is really going to accelerate the way research is being done, and it's going to improve on the quality of results.
So over here at Afam, we use a lot of operations research, service implementation research, change management, speech analytics, multiple data sources, and also expect people who join to immediately be able to pick up all these tools and be able to harness as much the right data to gather the right insights for the right project. So how quickly and how comfortable are you in information gathering and harnessing insights from all these multiple data sources? And can you give an example of?
Yeah, so like I said, technology, it's a good thing that the company, it's also a technology company. So gathering data will be uh, kind, kind of easy, right? Now, the only thing I need to now learn is how to draw a routine up where after gathering data, it's now easier for me to draw insights from the data and analyze those insights to be able to put up a good report on research findings, right? So it wouldn't be a problem at all because I remember some years back, I think I mentioned earlier on the study that I had to deliver within 2 weeks instead of 3 weeks, right? We missed it by 24 hours. One of the things that we did was making sure that as soon as the data was gathered, we were able to use the data to build up to to build up insights almost immediately, right? So there shouldn't be a lag time between data gathering and putting the data together to build up insights on the market. And secondly, um, with internet, secondary research is a lot more easier to secondary research is a lot easier to gather now, right? And with secondary research, one can, with so much information on the internet, one can gather a lot of information on the internet and use it in compare with primary research done, right? And use it to develop insights, right? So it wouldn't be a problem harnessing all these different methods of market research methods together for me to be able to deliver results.
How comfortable are you working with cross-functional teams? You're always working with limited budgets and competing departments with different priorities and objectives. How are you able to handle conflict or difference of priorities and opinions across different departments? Can you give an example of a time?
Yeah, I remember some time back, we had developed a research study, right? We were commissioned to develop a research study for a company. For hypothetical reasons, I'll just use Coca-Cola as that company, all right? So we were going to look at a product, we're going to do a product study to find out the company was about to launch a product, and we were going to find out at what price points this product can launch into the market. We're going to find out the competition for the company in the market, to find out how the competition is performing right now with similar products in the market, right? And the acceptance of these products in the market, right? The market research department of that company was ready to work with us. However, as soon as the marketing department of that company got to hear about the research study, got to hear that the research study was about to be commissioned, and saw the price, the costs that we had tagged on the research study, they presented a counter offer saying that they could do the same thing for about 50% cheaper than what we were offering, right? They were going to use their marketing executives to talk to their customers and gather data from their customers and just analyze that data and see what they come up with. However, I was able to present the type of values that we can give to the company with our own services. Number one, we're an independent company that will be talking to their customers, and customers they could not reach, right? Because of our own reach, right? Number two, we would be able to gather data, not just primary, we'll be able to gather secondary data to be able to develop better insights for them. Number three, we'll be able to develop a forecast of what the market will be doing in 5 years, because we were professionals that have tools. We were trained to handle such kind of studies, right? At the end of the day, we also told the marketing department that they could also use this forecast in developing their own budget for another 2 to 5 years, where they could have a long-term plan and be better prepared for the markets for another 2 to 5 years. By the time I presented the values that we could handle to them, they kind of understood that, okay, that we'll be giving them better value than them just sending their marketing executives into the market. So it showed me that at every point in time, to settle conflicts within cross-functional teams, one just needs to present the value that will be available, right? It's not just about saying that you can do what you're doing, what value would it bring to the table, right? So that has always been my watchword: bringing better value to the table, right? So that program was really successful because the marketing team was now like the department that was now using more of the study that we had done, and they commissioned us for future studies too, because they found out that the research findings that we did for them really helped them in developing future budgets, and they were better accurate, better prepared for the markets, right? So that's how I've handled situations like this.
Hmm. And this position of support research lead, North America, is, what are your expectations of this role, and how do you see this position evolve in a year's time?
Okay, good. So the company, like I mentioned earlier, that I've always enjoyed working with a company that understands the value of sustainability of our global environment, right? A company that is reducing the carbon footprints of people, but through online e-commerce, is helping to reduce carbon footprints. Uh, I believe that working as a lead research person would help me develop more strategies for this company to be able to better reach their customers, better to reach more customers, right? Um, like I said, reducing carbon footprints, because climate change is something that I have passion about, right? So that value for me is something that has made me got my interest in this role. So the future for a company like this will be very good, because uh, implementing strategies that will uh, bring about more customers into e-commerce, into implementing strategies that will increase the value of customer experience, that will increase the value of customer services, right, for consumers. Those are the kind of strategies that I'm seeing for the future, right? So there's less challenges for merchants to to think about how to bring their products into the market. All they need to concentrate on is to give their customer better experience, and improving affordability to customers at the end of the day.
Hmm. Thank you. What's your ultimate professional goal in life?
Oh, thank you very much. One question leads to the other. Like I've said, sustainability, climate change is something I'm very passionate about. I've always wanted to work with companies that support climate change, right? So I want to continue to mentor people. I want to continue to uh, uh, expose people to what could happen if we don't reduce carbon footprints around the world. Let people know the value of improving on our environment, right? So my goal in life is to continue have a successful career in market research, number one, right? And every company that I get involved with, make them successful enough and responsible enough for to have a sustainable environment for the world. That's just my goal.
Hmm. And one thing, how do you think market researchers should stay up to date on their latest trends or standards, or with so many fast-paced developments happening in the industry? What is
Yeah. Well, two things I would like to call on this. Number one is to embrace technology, right? Because more applications will be developed, more tools, more online tools will be developed, right? Number one, market research professionals need to embrace technology more. Number two, it's going to be interesting if, like, a market research association gets involved, professionals gets market research professionals get involved with market research association, right? Like I know that there's a MRIA research body in Canada that helps to bring about professionals together, and that set standards for professionals to follow, right? Now these standards will better help professionals to be able to deliver proper market research studies to customers, right? and the rules and regulations governing members of this body would also be able to will help customers to earn trust in market research professionals, like I mentioned earlier on, right? So it's important for market research professionals to, number one, like I said, embrace technology, and number two, belong to a body such as the MRIA to be able to follow standards. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for me about this role or this position, about your expectations, anything?
Okay, so I just wanted to know, in this role, is there a growth pattern after being employed for this role? Is there a growth pattern that one could evolve in after being getting this role?
Yes, yes, we have. So we have an HR department, and they help us on board, and they'll give out milestones every 6 months. We get the appraisals, and then we evaluate, and then there's a monthly one-on-ones with your direct manager, and then there's peer evaluations as well. So we have a system in place, and you will be introduced to all that in the onboarding process. So there will be no confusion or lack of clarity in that. There are very lucrative growth plans, and especially and every year, and then a lot of you can see from the reviews of employees, and I'm sure you've read about it here online, but yes, there are a lot of systems and incentives in place, and that keep our workforce very motivated. We have professional development programs, training, a lot of internal board postings, not just job postings within the company, but also little other postings of other opportunities to engage with outside the company through us. And it's an ecosystem. It's a very well knit, well woven ecosystem and infrastructure and family, and every employee has had an amazing experience, and if not, then they're always it's a very, you have small teams, but even though you work across many teams, you have small teams, and you're able to speak freely with your close core team.
All right, thank you very much. It's quite interesting. I recently read that the company has become the most valuable company in Canada. And I also read that the company's staff the company was voted as like one of the best places to work in Canada. So it tallies with what you have just told me now. Thank you very much.
Okay, awesome. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you, Babatunde, and we'll be in touch with you in the next 2 weeks then.
All right. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.